It is good to be back. What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan, and I am here to talk about the new season, the 4-3 shootout loss to the Montreal Victoire, the Ottawa Charge. 4-3 shootout loss to the Montreal Victoire, and also just generally talk about the new season. So first, things that are just new to the upcoming season. YouTube, yeah, not happy, but mixed now because I mean, it was fine on Canadian YouTube. I was able to watch some of the game on Canadian YouTube. I am subscribed, obviously, to all the sports channels. As I'm sure anyone who's watched this channel a few times by now has probably kind of figured out. But not everybody is. And I felt the PWHL games being on YouTube made it so much more accessible. At the same time, I understand the need to have these exclusivity rights and to make it competitive. And if it's free on YouTube, yeah, it will mean a little bit less money for the league, and that could be bad long term. I still think that some games should be on YouTube for Canadians. I think specifically if we're gonna do exclusivity rights, maybe American versus American games could be free on YouTube, and certain event games, home openers, takeover games, things like that, that would help grow the game, because I think that's important to grow the game. But at the same time, yeah, PWHL pretty popular in Canada. I think that in Canada, the PWHL is going to be a staple of Canadian culture in like 10 years. Seriously, I think that it's been very successful. The first season, the inaugural season, extremely successful, and I see that success being repeated long term. So I do understand it, like I get it. At the same time, it makes it accessible. It helps grow the game. Mixed feelings on that. The other thing I want to talk about is this thing right here. The logo. A lot of people have been dogging on it. First off, I got the season ticket holder, shocker. I got this, and when I actually physically got it for the first time, I started to get it a bit more. The O in person is a lot clearer. Like the Ottawa Charge is a much clearer. I really see like the full O being completed here, and then the C over here. Does it still kind of look like the Calgary Flames and Cleveland Cavaliers logo? Yeah, it does. At the same time, that's okay. Honestly, like I'm okay with that for right now. I like the logo now. Okay. Like is the word. I don't love it. Love is a strong word. I like it though. It's starting to grow on me, as is the name. I'm digesting it. And I am going to get a jersey as of right now. I've still got the inaugural season jersey, which, love it. Love it. Look at this. So clean. So clean. So many signatures. This is one of my all-time favorite pieces of sports memorabilia that I own. I love this jersey so much. It's so good. It's beautiful. Yes. I cannot ever remember the name. But when you watch TV and it's got the score and the time, yeah, it was really clean. I saw the first game on TSN because I was not in Montreal to watch it, and it looked clean. I like it. I like the look. It was clean. The jerseys, they look really clean. I've not gotten my jersey yet, but I've tried some sizes. I've seen them in person, and that's the other thing with the logo. Seeing it on the jersey, I like our new jerseys. No, I love. That's where I'll use that strong word. The jerseys are so clean, really, really nice. I'm actually a big fan of this. I mean, it's one of my favorite jerseys, and I like it's classic. It gives that original six vibe of just Ottawa right down, but I like our jerseys. I really do. And I think they look really good. And as for the preseason, I don't read too deep into preseason, but I was happy to see the scores. I couldn't see them, and that's another thing. I do wish that the preseason was at least aired on YouTube. Again, would have been nice to go to the game, but I get it. You need a whole camera crew and everyone. They are decisions that I understand. And I'm really looking forward to this next season. I am so stoked that we are finally getting a game at the Canadian Tire Centre, something that I've been asking for and begging for since season 1, and it's looking like it's going to be a great event. I am so looking forward to it. Friday, I believe it is. Yeah, Friday. It should be Friday. It's going to be great. It's going to be packed. The CTC is going to be rocking with those Go Charge, Go chants, and home opener on Tuesday. It is an exciting time to be a Charge fan. Except for the one not so exciting thing. Shootout loss. And if that is not reminiscent of last season, I don't know what is. Anybody who watched last season knows that what cost us the most was our inability to win close games. We could not win 1-goal games. Games that go to overtime, games that go to shootout. I think we won one game that went to overtime or shootout, and we had a lot. It's not like, oh, well, we won one out of 5 or 6. We had a bunch. I want to say it was 8. I can't remember offhand, but I know it was like, if we just won a few more of those, if we won literally 2 or 3 more, that could have made a big, big difference if we either won in regulation or in overtime. And even in regulation, we struggled to win those close, tight 1-goal games. And this was, of course, a close, tight 1-goal game that we lose in shootout. At the same time, this game should never have even gone to a shootout. We should have lost, and we should have lost by a lot. And I can't be too mad, because Jenner and Boyd were out. Arguably our best players on offense and defense didn't play the game, and we still lost in a shootout against a team with Laura Stacey and Marie-Philippe Poulin, and, a whole roster of, stars. I can't be too mad when 2 of our top players weren't even there, and we had a result like this. But this game was a close game inside a blowout, inside a close game. On the one hand, in some aspect, it's almost a choke. The game starts, and immediately Montreal took control. Montreal was up 7-2 in shots to start before a bit of confusion. And to start the scoring of our season, the Ottawa Charge score. Who else? Emily Clark. The Clark jersey is so tempting. Oh my God. I'm debating on, who Jenner, Clark, or wait for more. Maschmeyer is a big one. But personally, I think I'm probably going to hold off of getting a player jersey because we're going to get to the second goal, and I think this player is going to go down as a legend. I think that, we had the Weckenheiser era. We're in the Poulin era. I think the next era, it's going to have an Ottawa Charge player at the head of it. But we'll get into that. Emily Clark puts us on the board first, 1-0. First goal of the season. Kind of looked like an own goal from Boreen, but it was an Emily Clark goal. And that wakes us up. We get right back into it. We're playing a physical brand of hockey, which at first I really liked. And then penalties happened. We had a PK, incredible kill. Even a player lost a stick. It's okay. We kill it off. 5-on-5, another penalty. Again, Montreal looks really good on the power play. Again, we hold them off. They take a penalty with 6 seconds left in the period. And, there was, I think, 7 or 8 seconds left in our penalty kill. So we're basically going to have a power play to start the second. And that's how the first period ends. Good start. Up 1-0. That's always good. And despite giving them 2 power plays where they looked really dangerous, okay, now is that chance to go into the locker room, let cooler heads prevail, go on the power play, finish it off. Second period, our power play did not look great. Montreal was very aggressive. Honestly, I think the best chance came from Montreal. And after the power play ends, just a little bit after, right on cue, Daniel Serdachny, first PWHL goal, 2-0 Ottawa. And this is where I say I think Daniel Serdachny is going to be the next big Canadian player. Like, we're going to think Hayley Weckenheiser, we're going to think Marie-Philippe Poulin, and then we're going to think Danielle Serdachny. Like, I think that's going to be, like, the big three. Like, when you think the Mount Rushmore of Canadian players in all of history, I think by the end of her career, and I know this is so early to be saying this, knock on wood, but she looks amazing. She looked elite. She looked great in this game. This is her first game, and she already looks right at home. She says, "Hey, PWHL, welcome to the Danielle Serdachny show." Great. Up 2-0. What do? We take a penalty. What do? We take a penalty. This time it does cost us. Laura Stacey. Montreal keeps the pressure. Boreen scores. We're getting thoroughly outplayed. Then we take a penalty. Then Laura Stacey scores. What do? Another penalty. We get a kill, but the shots on goal were getting absurd. Maschmeyer is the only reason this was a game. She had nearly 40 saves at the end of the second period. We get another power play. 1 of 3. Remember that. And we get a goal. A breakaway. Teresa Vanisova gives us the lead back. 3-2 Ottawa. Great. Okay. I mean, 4 penalties, not great. They scored on one of those penalties. Really not great. Reel it back in. That's not what happened. Because in the third period, we took 3 penalties. Guess what happened? I'll give you one guess as to what happened. Shots were 36-19 at the end of the second period. That's practically... We kill a penalty. Holding them off. Take another penalty. Boreen scores. We take 7 penalties throughout the entire game. Goes to overtime. Goes to shootout. And no one scores in the shootout except for Marie-Philippe Poulin. And that's the game, and we lose 4-3 in the shootout. First off, Maschmeyer was so good. Unfathomably good. And like I said, like, you look at the shots where we were, like, practically doubled in the shot count. You look at the penalties. We took 14 minutes of being in the penalty box. Now, 2 of them were shortened because, a goal got scored on us, which, again, Maschmeyer only allowed 1 goal 5-on-5. 1. She played lights out, only allowed 1 goal in the shootout. 1. Again, if anybody scores in the shootout, we at least can extend the game. No help in that aspect. We needed more from our players in terms of letting cooler heads prevail. Discipline. There's the word, discipline. There was no discipline this game. And were some of the penalties a little iffy? Sure. But nonetheless, that's something that we've got to rein in. And I can't be too mad. It's the first game of the season. And at the same time, this objectively, like, by every other statistical measure, looks like a bad game. Got completely outshot, completely outplayed, took a bajillion penalties. The only reason it was ever a game is because of our goaltender. Didn't do anything in the shootout. I mean, nothing. And we have some good players who made some good moves, but just couldn't get through. Desbiens did not play her best game. Let in some softies. The goals weren't really her fault, but when you look at the shot count difference, the fact that this went to a shootout, again, absurd. And I'm kind of split on how I feel about this. Because on the one hand, I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Bunch of shootout and overtime losses, bunch of 1-goal losses that are going to cost us. On the other hand, I'm like, or this is our bad game. This is how we look when we play a really bad game. We get a point. And our good games are going to be just walking all over teams. Our bad game is our best player on offense and defense literally don't play. and we get completely outshot and outplayed and take way more penalties, and we still get a point out of it. That is our bad game. It's kind of hard to tell because it's the first game of the season. I'm just happy to be back. I hope you're happy to be back. I'm really excited for the upcoming rest of the season. Cannot wait for the home opener. Cannot wait for the CTC game. And then we get a long road trip because, well, the World Juniors are coming. And, maybe I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I'm happy to be back. And as always, go Ottawa, go!